welcome viewers. I am Pia and you are watching NewsX. We continue our rolling coverage of the landmark moment we've just seen a couple of hours before. Yes, NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore have safely returned to Earth after spending over 9 months in space due to unexpected delays which occurred after the Boeing Starliner capsule that they used to reach the ISS faced certain glitches. Now their spacecraft SpaceX's Dragon successfully splashed down off the Florida coast at 3:27 a.m. IST. This of course marked the end of a mission that lasted 296 days. There was a very sweet moment. We saw a pod of dolphins swimming around the spacecraft as the recovery teams worked to retrieve the crew. You can of course see the visuals right there. Sunita Williams exiting the capsule, all smiles as she beamed with joy while stepping out, waving and smiling. We have a very special guest joining us this morning. Is Falguni Pandya, Sunita Williams' cousin. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking to NewsX. First of all, I'd like to gauge what exactly was your reaction when you saw the capsule's very picture-perfect splashdown off the coast of Florida. How elated are you with her return?
You said it right. It was a picture-perfect landing. Namaste, everyone. I am just as excited as everybody in the larger family of Indians, Bhartiya, all around. She is everyone's daughter, she is everyone's sister, she is everyone's own person. So we all are very excited and celebrating with all of you.
Indeed, and I want to also know how exactly did you feel when you first found out about the difficulties, the glitches in her mission. She's of course a very seasoned astronaut. She's been to space a couple of times. She set many records over there. She was the first woman to in fact run a marathon in space, the first person in fact to also do a triathlon in space. So she's had a very illustrious career as far as, apart from her career in the US Navy, she's had a very illustrious career as an astronaut. So what was your very first reaction when you found out about the glitches and you found out about the possibility of her extended stay in space?
I do have full faith in NASA and the team of scientists and the team that have been supporting Sunny and all other astronauts. So there was no fear or anxiety of anything going wrong. We were bummed that not feeling that great that we will be missing her and that she would have to stay longer than she had planned to. So there was disappointment, but absolutely no fear and no anxiety, at least on my part.
Indeed, I also wanted to know how exactly did she communicate with all of you while in space?
So nowadays with the technology, it has become very easy to stay in touch. We were having routine video calls with the family. She was constantly in touch with her mother and her husband and her sister. She has written emails to all of us in a large group of friends and family. She has conveyed lots of details about her activities at the International Space Station. She has inquired about how we were all doing throughout. Communication was constant and in detail, and it was just like communicating with anyone who is long distance, even on planet Earth. And thanks to NASA team and thanks to technology, we are able to do that.
I also want to ask you a little more about Sunita in particular. How was she as a child, and when exactly did her interest in space bubble up?
So I am Sunita's Bhabhi, and I have been a part of her life for last 30 years, ever since I got married. And I do know, knowing the family, knowing my husband who is the same age as Sunny, and then they grew up together, spending summers together, that Sunny was raised in a very disciplined and a wonderful home that was full of love, but also very active household, where they were doing a lot of physical activities. There was a lot of discipline. There was a lot of emphasis on studies. As a child, she was, from what I've heard, she was very focused and she was very determined. But she and her whole family is very light-hearted. They are very joyful people, and I think joy really brings the best out in all of us. And her ambition has evolved slowly. She didn't start out wanting to become an astronaut, but she was in Naval Academy for a while. Then she was a helicopter pilot, and then it just one thing evolved into another. And we are happy that she's doing what she loves to do.
Indeed, and there was this time somewhere around the 1990s when she started her training. So could you explain to us how exactly did you all react? What was the family's reaction to her, of course, when she expressed her interest in becoming an astronaut, from, of course, shifting her career from a Navy pilot to that of an astronaut?
She is a powerful person, very, very smart and very accomplished even from beginning. So it was sort of natural for her to go on to do greater stuff. Family has been very supportive. It is her decision, just like it should be for adult children in our families. And when she decides to do something, family was full-heartedly supporting. Many of us thought it was very cool that she was going to be an astronaut and she had joined the training. That's just something to be proud of. Yes, everybody was aware that becoming an astronaut comes with a lot of sacrifices, personal sacrifices and sacrifices from the family as well, but mostly her own, and the physical hardships that she would have to go through, and all the life-altering decisions that she would have to make. But she was quite aware of it, and she was doing it for the greater good, and the family is committed to greater good of the world. Her father himself has contributed so much to humanity through his research in neurology and brain mapping, and a very down-to-earth person who just followed science and followed contributing to the world. So it's no surprise that she is coming out of that environment, following his footsteps as well.
Do you have any sort of standout memories of your interactions with her before this mission?
Lots of memories. It's been 30 years together. So lots of memories, and it's very unfair for me to say one is better than the other, or one stands out and others don't. But we have always had a lot of fun relationships. She has attended all the family events. She's an aunt to my children. So when we do traditional ceremonies like Janeu for my son and Mundan and family birthdays, she has always been there, and we have had wonderful memories. And not just of her sister Dina, her brother Jai, and the extended other cousins as well. She's just one of us, so we don't single anybody out. Yeah.
Indeed, and what's interesting is just about half an hour back, I was just taking our viewers through the longest amount of time astronauts have spent in space at a stretch, and now she's of course amongst the top 10 of astronauts world over in the history of humanity to have spent 296 days in space. How do you feel about this achievement?
Just like all of you would, very proud of her, right? And it was not planned, but the way she has embraced the change of schedule, the change of things that are happening, and not easy, but she has embraced it. And I think that is something even more to be proud of, that she showed how in adversity you can still find a path forward and stay true to your mission and your goal. Very proud.
Indeed, a lot of people are also now, of course, concerned about her health. What sort of changes have you seen in her since before this mission and now with the touchdown? Of course, we've seen a lot of physical changes as far as her weight is concerned. There's of course a lot of challenges that astronauts face in microgravity. So how do you think she'll adjust back to life on Earth?
She's a fighter. She is surrounded by great team. She has the entire team of NASA supporting her, helping her. They know what they are doing, and I am very sure that she will fight back. She's always been physically fit, and as astronauts you have to be. So before going to space, she was very physically fit. She will bounce back.
All right, ma'am. One last question. Of course, Sunita Williams has inspired countless of people across the globe. And how do you think her achievements, her tenacity, her courage, her resilience, especially in light of this mission, how do you think this will impact the Indian community at large? A lot of people who are, of course, now looking at space as being an avenue where they can, of course, contribute, and also women in STEM fields.
So why just Indian community? She's an icon for the world over. But for Indian community, what makes a difference is that she has succeeded in United States. It's very important for our next generation to get that encouragement, that hope, that path forward. That is somebody who looks like me can do it, so can I. Someone who comes from the family like mine can do it, so can I. So she's very approachable. She's very down to earth. She's very humble. She's willing to share her knowledge, and she's willing to share her journey and the path forward. So I think she not only inspires in an abstract way, but she also gives a very concrete hope and a very concrete confidence to the next generation. She's really going to change many lives if she hasn't already.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking out time, speaking to NewsX this morning, of course, sharing your perspective, your happiness at Sunita Williams' return to Earth. Viewers,